start with this conversation about optimizing your profile on LinkedIn. And when I think about your profile on LinkedIn, I kind of like to think about your profile, comparing it to your presence in terms of posting on LinkedIn. And when you post on LinkedIn, you're doing storytelling. You know, you're sharing insights, you're sharing news, you're sharing articles. I very rarely sell when I post on LinkedIn. Because the purpose of me posting on LinkedIn is to get your attention and to stay in the homepage feed and stay there a little bit longer as well. My profile is where I'm doing the selling. So if you've seen something interesting from what I've posted and you're coming back to my profile, then I have an opportunity to educate you, to inform you, to see if you're a good fit for my products and services. So I want you to think about the concept of your profile like a sculptor, okay? And your profile is as much about what you take out as what you keep in. So think about, you know, a sculptor gets a marble slab and it's nothing, and then after he or she has done chiseling things out, then they have this work of art, right? And I want you to think about your profile the same way. So you've got to sculpt it to really your ideal target audience. So think about this right now, maybe even write it down. Who is your ideal target audience on LinkedIn? And as much as you know about them, whether it's demographics or geography or job title or needs or pain points, think about who that person is. That is who you are writing your profile for. You're not writing your profile for the world. Unless you're a job seeker, you're not writing it to find a job, so it shouldn't be a resume. It really should be written to your ideal target audience. And I will say, fill out every single area that LinkedIn gives you on your profile. You can even periodically look up and down and just say if they filled out everything. And I want to use every character count they give me, because the more keywords and phrases I have within my profile, the more likely I'll come up in search results on LinkedIn. Okay? And I'll touch on that point a few times throughout the presentation. And then the final point here to think about as we go into profile optimization is that I really want you to think about writing your profile for both a person, a human being, and you want it to be interesting for people to read. But you also want to write it for the computer, kind of that back end, the concept of SEO, search engine optimization. So how do we, in website terms, how do we create a website that comes up in more search results on Google? Your LinkedIn profile is the same way. How do you write a profile so it's coming up in more search results on LinkedIn? Okay, so I want you to think about that way. All right, so right now I want you guys to look at your profile. I'm going to show you a couple of things that are a little bit different on mobile versus desktop view. And these are things that are important to keep in mind, because as we optimize our profile, we want to make sure it's optimized in desktop and in mobile. About 50% of web traffic nowadays is done on your mobile device. So you could be missing half of the audience if you're not optimizing it for mobile. So first thing is on the desktop view, you can see that your headshot photo is on the left. Now, back in June, our headshot photo was in the center, and they've rolled out a new LinkedIn app. If you've updated your app, you're going to see your headshot photos in the left now. Does everybody have that on their mobile? Are you guys all left aligned on mobile now? I think it's pretty much all kind of moved over. So that's there. So on your desktop view, you can see that your contact info is right at the top of your profile. Look at your mobile profile. There's no contact button anywhere over here. So you have to know that in order to find that, you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the profile, keep going all the way down to the bottom of the activity. It's all the way at the very bottom. So it's pretty hard to get a hold of you unless you make that contact information easier to access. And that's one of the reasons you're going to see I put my email address in several areas of my profile to make it easier for people to get a hold of me if they want to do business with me. Okay? Another area is, if you look at this section, it's called About. It used to be called your summary, but your About statement, you can see it's 3 lines on desktop, 3 lines on mobile right here. But look at where it cuts off. So look at your profile right now, and if you're one of the people that have the desktop and the laptop in front of you, you're going to notice that mobile cuts off much sooner than the desktop. So on desktop, I think you can get like 25 to 42 words. And on mobile, it's only about 10 to 12 words before that cuts off. So that's really important, because what I like to tell people is that most people are not going to click on see more. Most people are just going to read the first 3 lines, and they're going to either keep on scrolling or they're going to click back, because you're not the right person, you're not the right profile they want to be on. So it's really important when you're writing this About statement, you're capturing their attention in those first 3 lines. And because it's shortened on mobile, you need to really get to the point quickly, okay? Not going on too long there. All right, and I think that's kind of the major changes right now. I'm seeing little things moving all the time. Before, contact info was like a button under here, and they moved that as well. So they're always rolling out other tweaks, but these are the major changes that I'm seeing right now. All right, so now I want to go through, this is my suggested profile checklist, and did you pass out the handouts already?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think you guys have this in front of you on the handout, right? Perfect. So this is when I go through profiles from top to bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this here first, and then I'm going to show you some visual examples of each of the areas as well. Okay? So starting at the very top of your profile, and again, if you have your phone or your tablet with you, your laptop, look at your profile, and you can even make some of these changes as we go throughout here. You're going to notice at the very top of your profile, you've got two areas for images. You've got your headshot photo, and you've got your header image that's in the background. What I'm looking for in your headshot photo, is it pleasant, professional, recent, meaning if I see you in person, I can recognize who you are, right? We all know who that person or persons are, you know? Maybe they're the same person, I don't know, maybe they're different. But you run into them, you're like, oh, is that your sister? Or maybe 25 years ago. You know, put your best face forward. And especially if you work for an organization, I would say invest the money into getting a nice professional headshot. You spend time on your website, your collateral, your you know, your signage for your company, you know, all the apps and everything else. And then you go to your LinkedIn profile, and it's like a selfie, you know, with bad lighting in the background. So make sure it's a nice quality photo there. Another really important thing, and look at your photo right now on your account, what I like to look for in that circle from the very top of your head to the bottom of your chin, that should be about 50 to 60% of the circle. Okay, it shouldn't be from the top of your head to the back of your waist, because remember, half of web traffic nowadays occurs on mobile, so the further back you are, your face is like a little tiny dot and we can't see you. Okay? So if you are on your phone, you can actually click on the little pencil icon that's in the photo headshot box, and then I think you click on it one more time, you can actually just pinch and zoom it in a little bit on there. Okay? So if you haven't done that already, definitely look at that. And then behind your headshot photo, you've got a header image. Okay? And I'm guessing probably about half of you in the room have the default, which is the teal blue dots and lines. Right? Anybody nod their heads? I'm like, yep, I got it on my. You can and you should change that. So let's think about that header image almost the same way we think about a billboard on the side of 696. LinkedIn is giving you free space to advertise yourself, your business, or the brand that you represent. Okay? So you can only do this on desktop, you cannot do it on mobile, but you can certainly upload stock photography. If you've got some company branding with a logo, maybe a picture of your building, you could put that in. I've seen some speakers and individuals, I'll show you in a few minutes here, where they use some text in the background. It's not clickable, but it kind of uses as a headline type of format. Or at bare minimum, just choose something that represents you, your personality, your interests. Maybe it's a scene of mountains or stars or cool lighting effects, but use something different than the default in there, okay? So some free promotion and advertising for your business. And just like the billboard on the side of the highway, you wouldn't see McDonald's putting the same billboard and leaving it up there for 12 months. They change it out pretty frequently. I like to change out my header image at least once a quarter, if not once a month. Okay, so add a little bit of variety in there. So the way that when we see posts in the homepage feed, it's for a reason. Part of it is how often are we engaging with this person or topic, and LinkedIn is trying to serve us information that they think is relevant to us. And the other part is how much engagement is the post getting. And there's a magical formula, I don't know what it is, but there's a magical formula that says how long does the post stay in the homepage feed and how many people are we showing it to. And there's a weighted formula to it that says a like or a reaction gets a certain number of points, and a comment also gets some points. And a comment of like 1 or 2 words like, thanks, great article, LinkedIn says, not really, conversation. But when you say, thanks for that great article, Kim, I found this really helpful to learn this new tip, 5 or more words, LinkedIn says, well, hold on, people are talking about this. And then if I reply back and then Kim starts talking back and forth to me, then we've got a conversation going back and forth. And LinkedIn says, well, wow, this is a popular post. We're going to keep this in the homepage feed a little bit longer. So the likes are good. comments are better, and comments especially of 5 or more words. So when I comment on posts, I always try to get 5 or more words in there. And sometimes it's thanks for the great post, thanks for the great post. That's 5 words. Have a great week, whatever. It doesn't matter what the 5 words are, but that helps out with it. Okay? If you want to use LinkedIn for business development, you've got to make deposits first. And those deposits are in the form of engaging with other people in your network. You have to give to get, right? Isn't there a little expression? There's a book out there, I think, along that.
Giver's Gain.
Giver's Gain, thank you. It's a book, isn't it? Giver's Gain?
To go giver too, yeah.
So that's a big focus of what I do, and you're going to notice if you follow me on LinkedIn, I talk about other people all the time. Very rarely do I talk about myself or my business. I'm always talking about other people. And I talk about people with big networks, I talk about events I go to, I share tips. I'm always out there on LinkedIn. So what I want you guys to think about is, really paying it forward and starting with every time you go to LinkedIn, starting on your homepage feed, scroll through that homepage feed. If you find some things that are interesting, give it a like or some type of reaction. Maybe 2 to 3 of the times, leave a comment of how many words? Do you guys remember? 5 or more words. Really simple, just 5 or more words. So try to do that a few times a day. If someone comments on one of your posts, I think about a comment as kind of like a gift that I've been given. And when I get a gift, I send a thank you note. I'm going to say, thank you, Kim, for your comment. And I might even ask Kim a question to keep the conversation going a little bit longer. Okay? All right, so building social media karma. And then the other thing, this is a newer feature. Remember the Cedar Point thing I talked about? So this is one of these newer features. LinkedIn's going to say, hey, here's a bunch of news that's popping up right now on LinkedIn. And the cool thing is it shows you how many people are reading it. So you might want to go on some of these posts and add a comment, because guess what? There's a huge audience of people that are talking about that right now. So you can reach some more people by looking at those. All right, and then, so now you've paid it forward, you've given to your network in the form of liking and commenting. Now you want to post something yourself. So I would highly encourage you, you guys are all at an event today for the Better Business Bureau of Eastern Michigan. Take a picture of me. You could take a picture of, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on your name. Amanda. I'm thinking Tiffany in my head and my coffee's not quite synced up yet. You could take a picture of Amanda. You can take a picture of Amanda and her whole team at the Better Business Bureau. They've got a sign outside the building here. And maybe say, today I was at this amazing LinkedIn presentation by @Brenda Meller. Thank you to @Amanda Hill and team at the Better Business Bureau for coordinating. And here are a couple of my key takeaways from today. So you can share with some of people in your network the knowledge that you gained for today. And guess what? They're going to go, wow, that's really cool that he shared those tips. And they're going to look at your profile. And they're going to learn more about your business. So definitely, take pictures when you go to events, not just today. Anytime you're at an event where there's a speakers, we have large networks. When you tag me in a post, guess what? That broadcasts out to my follower list. I've got about 14,000 followers. So that's going to give you a little burst in visibility. When you tag me, I will comment back, acknowledge you, thank you, and I'll encourage my network to visit your profile. So I'm going to give you a little bit of love there too. I like to post once per business day. At minimum, try to at least post once a week though. Some of you may not have posted for years or months on LinkedIn. So try to baby steps, start small, posting once a week. Work up to once every single business day. When you go to conferences and events and workshops, you're all networkers, obviously, you come to an event here today. Get in the habit of taking a picture either before, after, or during the event, posting that along with key takeaways, industry news items. So whenever I'm researching information for a client, whether I'm on Entrepreneur or Forbes or Fast Company or whatever, I will share that article out as a status update. So that's an easy way. I'm not going to read through everything in here, but I will say, generally speaking, inspirational quotes do really, really, really well. So if I am struggling and if I am out of ideas on what to post, I'll go into Google and I'll do an image search and I might look at inspiration or motivation or focus or success. And I found an image that somebody else has created and I will share that out. And I'll put a couple words in there too.